Welcome to the Literary Discussion Hour. I'm your host, Dr. Daniels, Dr. Jack Daniels. If you've never been up at 2:30 in the morning watching NBC, then you've never seen our show. So let me tell you what we do here. Each week we choose an author and bring in some guests and literary critics to discuss the author's life, literary works, and literary style. This week our author of choice is the satirical Sinclair Lewis. We'll be discussing his novels Babbit, Aerosmith, and Main Street. And now, let me welcome to the program our first guest, Mr. Gustav Gustafson. Hello, Mr. Gustafson.
Good morning, Dr. Daniels. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. Now, Mr. Gustafson, we understand that you knew Sinclair Lewis personally, and I'm sure you have quite a few stories to share with us. Could you just tell us and the audience a little bit about Sinclair's life?
All right. I'll begin when we were kids. We grew up together in Sauk Center, Minnesota, and he was born around 1885, and so we grew up together right around the turn of the century. Let me tell you, times were tough.
Yes, I bet there were. I can understand.
Shut up.
Excuse me, sir.
Anyhow, his father's name was Edwin, and he was a very successful doctor. His mother Emma died when he was 6, and poor kid never got over it. So anyway, he grew up with a stepmother. Her name was, Isabel, I believe. That was her name. So anyway, he goes off to Oberlin Academy in Ohio back in 1902, and he stayed there for about a year, and then he moved on to Yale. So he was there for about 3 years, so I guess I'll make it about 1906. And then he worked in Upton Sinclair's Helicon Hall. Well, he didn't much care for that, so he left. And so he went back to Yale and graduated there in 1908. About the next decade or so, I guess, he wandered around and went to some New York publishing houses and published a few works there. I guess it was about that time he really developed his flair for writing.
Yes, that's a very, very touching story.
I wasn't done.
Yes, I believe you are. Now, we're going to need to pause for a word from our sponsor, so we'll take a little commercial break. When we return, more about Sinclair Lewis's brilliant masterpieces. Well, guess I better start my homework. Ever since I got out of AP English class, life has been a breeze. Yep, honors English. Pretty easy. First book, which we have 4 months to read, Main Street by Sinclair Lewis. Let's see. Probably be finished with this book. Getting in. I don't understand any of this. What's going on? Where's the satire? Where's the symbolism?
Where are your Cliff Notes?
Cliff Notes? What are Cliff Notes?
You mean you've never heard of Cliff Notes? They're an insightful study guide to novels that provide plot summaries and point out literary devices used in the story.
Well, isn't that kind of like cheating?
Heck no, it's not cheating. Cliff Notes are read as an addition to the novel, not as a substitute.
Well, I doubt they have Cliff Notes for such an obscure author like Sinclair Lewis.
Well, are you reading Main Street? Babbit? Or Aerosmith? Cliff Notes cover over 200 different novels and plays from the most important literary figures in history. And Cliff Notes aren't just for the high school English student.
I don't get it. Oh! The cat is the guy in the big red and white hat. Thank you, Cliff's Notes.
Cliff Notes are for all types of literature.
I don't understand.
So remember, the next time that old mean English teacher of yours gives you only 2 weeks to read a 500-page novel, don't curse yourself for taking such a hard class. Just drop by your nearest bookstore and pick up a copy of the appropriate Cliff Notes. And if you have time, read some of that novel.
Welcome back. We have already heard about the life of the legendary Sinclair Lewis, but now let's bring out my second guest this evening, Cliff S. Notes.
It's a pleasure.
Mr. Gustafson, Dr. Daniels, thank you very much.
Welcome back to the program.
Appreciate it. I'd appreciate it if you also called me Dr. Notes. I am, of course, a PhD in literature.
Of course, Doctor. Your opinion, you know, has always been respected on this show, as you've been on many times. This evening, we'd like to talk about Main Street, Lewis's first novel, the one that most people consider his first success, really, in his career as a literary author.
Sure, it was a masterpiece of the 1920s. Main Street was a work that questioned the lifestyle of the middle class by exploiting the absolute mediocrity of their achievements and the narrowness of their beliefs. It is a satire of American life and a bold novel for Lewis. Actually, when I read it, I didn't particularly care for it, but, you know, some have, so it's a classic.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, how about Babbit, Lewis's 1922 publishing?
Yes, in this novel, Lewis vividly portrays the utter dullness and drabness of small-town life. He uses the character George F. Babbit, typical American businessman, to show the shortcomings of the middle-class life. Babbit is a total satire of middle-class America, much like its predecessor, Main Street. So vividly did Lewis paint the picture of small-town America that I can almost see it now. Honey? Honey, could you come in here, please? Need your advice.
Yes,
Oh,
dear.
there you are. Hey, which suit do you think I should wear today?
Well, do you mean which color?
What do you mean, which color? Of course I mean which color. Do you mean for me to wear a tuxedo to work?
Of course not. I just wasn't sure what you were speaking of.
Oh, very well. Which do you think I should wear? The blue one or the gray one?
Well, you usually wear the blue one for, important meetings, and the gray one, for more festive occasions. So I guess the gray one.
Okay. Cut it. I really call a work a festive occasion. What's wrong with this one?
Well, nothing, dear. It's just so formal, and there's this little coffee stain.
What? A coffee stain? You mean to tell me you haven't even gotten rid of a coffee stain? What do you do around here all day? I put in a hard day's work and you can't even remove a single coffee stain? I'll make the decision myself. I'll wear this one. There's no way I'll have a woman making decisions around my house, even if you are my wife.
Breakfast is ready.
I'll be right down. Kids?
Could you call the kids down to breakfast?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Kids? Hurry up, your mother's preparing breakfast. Let's get downstairs. Kids, can you hurry up, please? Your mom has prepared a wonderful breakfast, which I want you to enjoy with the family. And then I would like you to thank her for the time and effort she put into making it while you took your sweet old time getting ready. And I want you to do it all with a smile. Please, that's all I have to ask of you. Lazy brats. I smell bacon. I swear, honey, we should have gotten a dog instead of the kids.
Oh, honey, you know you love the kids.
Well, sure I love them, but it's just they don't act their age. Take the boy, for example. All he wants to do is play football, chase girls, get drunk, and work little jobs for little money. Why can't he be more like me, a hard-working, honest businessman? And the girl, for example. Well, we didn't spend $10,000 on her college education for her to be walking around like She's some know-it-all and working that piddly little job downstairs. Sometimes I don't even know what to do. Hey, you slowpoke! Oh, hey, what's up? I didn't see you guys there. Whatever, Dad. So, boy, I figured if you weren't busy today, I could take you down to the offices and show you a little bit about what making a living is all about.
You know what, Dad? Sounds great. But I can't make it.
Why not?
See, my day is just jam-packed full of things to do. Like, first of all, I have to go down to the high school and practice football for 3 hours.
Good.
Then I'm going to go from payphone to payphone and look for spare change. Hey, little work, easy money. Then after that, I'm going to go down with the guys and get drunk and chase some girls. Sounds great, doesn't it? What? Is it not okay that I practice football, do almost no work, and chase girls in a drunken stupor? What's wrong with that? Nah, that's what I thought. Anyway, I'll take a rain check on that work thing.
That boy's not right. How are you this morning, Mrs. College grad? Don't know what I want to do with my life yet, but in the meantime, I'll just walk around showing everyone up with my knowledge of rainforest bugs and the dung beetle.
I'm picking up your sarcasm, Dad, and I don't like it. You're just uptight because I'll be making much more money than you because you're working a small, pitiful real estate job.
Don't call it pitiful. This pitiful real estate job puts a roof over your head, clothes on your shoulders, food in front of you. As a matter of fact, I have not heard one thank you this whole morning.
Well, that just shows how your simple mind overlooks the obvious. In case you have trouble remembering, I was here early this morning. I ate breakfast before I came. I have a roommate downtown in my own apartment. And I was helping Mom cook breakfast.
You know what? I don't remember that because I was upstairs taking a nap, getting my beauty sleep.
You're a slacker! Dad, you sleep all the time!
That's it. I'm tired of all this. Is all that what she says true, honey?
Well, about the breakfast part, she helped cook the food that's on your plate right now.
I see. Well, I've never. This time I teach you both a lesson. Both of you, sit down. Ready? Microphone. Music.
Life's gonna suck when you grow up, when you grow up, when you grow up. Life's gonna suck when you grow up. It sucks pretty bad right now. Hey, if you know the words, sing along. You're gonna have to mow the lawn, do the dishes, make your bed. You're gonna have to go to school until you're 17. It's gonna seem about 3 times as long as that. You might have to go to war, shoot a gun, kill a nun. You might have to go to war when you get out of school. Cheer up, kids, it gets a lot worse. You're gonna have to deal with stress, deal with stress, deal with stress. You're gonna be a giant mess when you get back from the war. Santa Claus does not exist and there's no Easter Bunny. You'll find out when you grow up that Clifford isn't funny. Life's gonna suck when you grow up, when you grow up, when you grow up. Life's gonna suck when you grow up, it sucks pretty bad right now. You're gonna end up smoking crack on your back, face to the back. You're gonna end up hooked on smack and then you're gonna die. And then you're gonna die.
Well, I hope you guys have all learned a valuable lesson from that. I'd love to stay for more, but I'm late for work, and I have to run some errands on the way. I'm going to stop by the Zenith Athletic Club on the way, maybe pump some iron, head on down to the church, make sure the funds are running high. I always say, a good faith makes a strong man, and then I'll be on my way to work. So I hope you guys have learned something important today. Thank you for the breakfast, honey. Bye-bye.
See you, Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Brandon. That was very interesting. I'd like to discuss Aerosmith, Lewis's bestseller from 1925. Dr. Notes, if you would.
Sure, Aerosmith. A tale I'm sure most of you are familiar with. It deals with the character Martin Aerosmith, an aspiring doctor and scientist. Few know, however, that although Lewis intended for Aerosmith to sound idealistic and positive, he actually ended up writing a social commentary on the pseudoscience and glory hunting of the medical profession. Once again, Lewis displayed his satirical view of the American lifestyle.
Really, an interesting outtake. Before our program started this evening, I was informed that we had acquired the lost footage of 20th Century Fox's movie attempt at Aerosmith, made back in the great decade of the 70s in 1977. Jimmy, do we have that clip?
Oh yeah.
All right, can we please roll the clip?
Training of a physician-scientist. Martin Aerosmith, of pioneer descent and unflagging spirit, begins his medical training by reading Gray's Anatomy at the age of 14 in the office of Doc Bickerson at Elk Mills.
Hello, young protege. Hello.
Well, that about wraps it up for tonight.
Hey, wait a minute.
Excuse me, yes.
Okay, what about Sinclair Lewis's other works?
What about him?
The Job, The Innocents, Free Air. How about the book they published after he died, World So Wide?
All works of literary garbage in my eyes.
Oh, wait a minute, okay. Don't you guys even care that he rejected the Pulitzer for Aerosmith?
No.
No.
Okay. I know there's some sort of humanitarian element in you. Don't you even care that he died in 1951 in Rome of heart disease?
I could care less.
I read fiction, not biographies.
Well, that about wraps up for our program. Tune in next week when we discuss the prolific and poetic Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, that's a good show, yeah. Good times.